Hi, welcome to another week of Giving Conversation. I'm Amy Buchheit, and I'm with the Triangle Education Foundation, and I am so excited to have Jim Phillips with us from the fraternity staff. Jim is our one of our newest members that we have on our Triangle team, and he is dedicated to the success of our undergraduate programs with recruiting, growing, and just being all around awesome chapters. So I want to welcome Jim and thank him for his time this morning. And Jim, we would love to hear a little bit about you, your experience, and how you came to Triangle.
Yeah, so like Amy said, my name is Jim Phillips. I'm the Director of Growth and Expansion. I have technically been with Triangle now for over a year, November of 2019, but I've been a full-time staff member since July of 2020. I've really enjoyed my experience. I'm a member of Lambda Chi Alpha. I graduated from a small college called Franklin College in Central Indiana. And through that, being a member of Lambda Chi Alpha, I worked on their staff for a year and a half, focusing on mostly growth and expansion. I kind of found the love for it after my first one at Illinois State, and then I led the Texas A&M expansion and East Carolina expansion. Those are really fun through kind of just the mannerisms I had and just connecting with the people. We saw 120% increase in people that were joining our expansions whenever I was working them versus past ones. So I kind of found my love for it. And then once I left Lambda Chi staff, Tom got a hold of me and, talked me into doing part-time stuff, working with some chapters. And then he finally convinced me to work full-time this past summer during pandemic. So I've absolutely loved my experience so far and getting to meet a lot of undergraduates and alumni members.
Jim, what is your primary responsibility with Triangle?
So my primary responsibility is one of its expansion, which we're working on creating a pipeline right now. We're about to send out proposals, kind of get to know us stuff to Greek advisors. I'll be following up, but a big part of it is internal chapter growth. To grow our chapters, because we need to focus on our current members first, especially during this uncertain time, and giving them the opportunity. So through that, I created what I call the Growth Success Program, or GSP for short, and just working with our groups to hold themselves accountable, set goals, follow those goals, use their campus resources, which, a lot of people would find that hard to believe. Our campus resources can help us. And just by doing that, having these weekly meetings, getting to, know them a little bit, know how they function. So that way I'm able to motivate them in different ways to, grow their chapter, get bigger new member classes, and then from there, really get them excited about what they're doing. So that way they can get their other chapter membership behind them to kind of be motivated and help them with the goals they create.
You said that you run something called the Growth Success Program. Is that super top secret, or can you tell us a little bit about it?
No, so it's something that I would say probably 26 chapters are currently doing or have been a part of out of our 34-ish, I believe. And pretty much what that is, it's a weekly meeting with me, lasts 30 to 40 minutes. I don't believe in, going over or preaching blue Tom in the face, because I think that just wears out me and the undergraduate members. I've always been part of that philosophy. If we can get something done in 20 minutes, let's do it. No point stretching out for 60. And during those weekly meetings, they set a goal for themselves. I will give them a suggestion, but they're not allowed to use my suggestion as their goal, because I want them to create what they feel like they can do. But if I believe that it's too small of a goal, like I want to reach out to 5 people this week or something like that, I will tell them you can do more, and I expect you to do more. But if it's very, very ambitious, I might bring them down just a little bit. But pretty much just with that goal, we talk about different recruitment tactics. I focus a lot on sales just because of my background. I have 3 business minors, so I think very analytically, and I refer a lot of things to a recruiter's the job, or somebody selling something, because if we're trying to get 200 new clients, we got to figure out how many people we have to reach out to get 200 clients. It's not we're just reaching out to 200 or 200 potential clients, because not everybody's going to buy in. So I teach a lot of that stuff, and through the GSP, the Growth Success Program, I connect them to other chapters that are similar through monthly roundtables. So the big chapters have their own week or a day during like the second week of the month, or the medium chapters, like the Big Ten schools might have their own as well. And then like the West Coast schools. So because the best resource as well with campus stuff is each other. I'm not a member of Triangle, so I don't know what ritual's like, or, kind of the experiences with that, or the new member education. So they know what they're going through and they're willing to help each other out. And being from similar campuses, they might face some of the same challenges. So opening up that door to allow them to work with each other. So it's pretty much just creating awareness around, the sales aspect of recruitment and getting them to kind of see that more in a professional light.
Wow, Jim, that sounds like a really intense program. I feel like our chapters might have some misconceptions about it. How do you address and overcome those?
Yeah, so some of them, they feel like whenever you hear, weekly meeting, I'm going to be talking to you about setting goals for yourself, that it might, sorry about the yawning, but it might, feel like it's very time extensive. It's not really. Like I said, my meetings are fairly short and to the point. If you come prepared and you're willing to talk about a few questions, a few goals, we're going to be able to get the meeting done pretty quickly. But I help you take some of that stuff off your plate of the goal setting. So if they come up with a goal of, we want to contact 100 people this week, and that sounds overwhelming for one person, but if you break it down to 3 people in your committee and you do it each day, that's break down between 4 total people, you're at 25 per person. There's 7 days in the week. If we contact 3 people a day, that seems way easier to contact as many people rather than, we got to contact 100. So a lot of people might find it time consuming. Some might hear from certain chapters, we, talked to Jim a few times and it didn't work. But in order for this to work, I need people to show up every week. I need them to meet their goals that they set for themselves, because they know what they're capable of, and they need to be, listening to my suggestions and how to contact people the most effective way. Because our groups that have doubled in new member size from this semester compared to year to date last semester is because they are following these steps. They are kind of doing what I'm suggesting, but also using the other resources that are available to them as well. So those are a couple of the I guess, misconceptions that they hear as with that is, time and whether, it's worth your while. And in my opinion, if you're willing to put in a little bit of time that you can fit in your schedule, then it will be worthwhile.
You said, you just gave the analogy of, I want you to contact 100 people this week, but when you really kind of break it down and think about it, that's really only 3 people per day per member, which is really not a hard thing to do. What, and I'm guessing for a lot of chapters that might be an aha moment. What's the biggest one you've seen with chapters where you see the proverbial light bulb go off above their head and they're like, yeah, we can totally do this program and win with it?
Mm-hmm. I would say the biggest aha moment was working with Wisconsin. They were kind of the first ones to do this, where I was talking about using your campus resources, like, ask questions, because all they can say is no. If you reach out to campus officials or, different campus professionals about stuff, all they can say is no. Sorry, we can't give that to you. And through that, Wisconsin was able to get an entire public record request of 3,000 Triangle eligible P&Ms. So those that fell within the approved majors, those who could join, and through that, they've been able to, other chapters have tried it. Some have been unsuccessful. PSUB was able to get a names list of over 1,300 people this semester because they tried it. So that was kind of the biggest aha. It's like, we can just ask questions, and if, we get denied, no big deal. We'll just find something else to do. And that, leads to kind of why Wisconsin, I think they had 14 bids signed last fall, and they end up pinning 13 of them. And that's the biggest class they've had in quite a while. And PSUB is, having a handful of P&Ms more than what they did last spring in their Discord and talking with them. So I would say that was probably like one of the coolest things, is seeing that light bulb pop up, because just based off of them being able to get that list, it was like pushing over the domino of momentum for the Wisconsin guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're right. And those campus professionals want to help our chapters be successful. They're probably not really going to say no, are they?
Mm-mm.
That's awesome. So has Wisconsin I'm hearing you use them a couple times. Are they kind of your poster chapter for success about look at this, kind of a medium-sized chapter that really wanted to take it to the next level and they've been able to do that?
Yeah, I would say they're one of the few. I definitely have some within different ranges of I guess operations, with Wisconsin being a medium-sized chapter, really excelling with that. Clemson, with them being very small, they've gone from 7 members to 15, I think, this year already.
Wow.
They've recruited 8 guys, 5 in the fall, and then I want to say 3 this spring, which doubled their size, and it was all on one person. Killian Davis went through, and he took the load mainly on himself. And then that domino got pushed, momentum, and now he's got the entire chapter helping him. And he says how relaxed he is. So I definitely have different people with different things, like Ohio State. I still do this today. Their names list that they made just from a Google spreadsheet was fantastic, and I shared that resource with as many chapters as I could. So there's definitely a lot of groups that have been successful in different ways to kind of make this program work.
That's awesome. I think that just speaks to how we kind of said it's not a one size fits all. We're going to work with you to customize this for what your needs are, what your campus environment is, and what your goals are. I'm like learning. I'm on staff and I'm learning so much about this program. So I'm sure our Triangle alumni and friends that are watching are probably getting really excited about this great program too. And you've talked about success with the chapters, which is always what we want to hear, right? But there's obviously been there's been some stumbles with some chapters where maybe they didn't get quite the results that they wanted, and they've kind of had to reevaluate. What would you say to chapters who are maybe on the fence about using this program, who have heard the not so great stories of this program? How do you address that and tell those chapters, like, that was just an isolated incident, but look at how they picked themselves up, and here's the success they're having now?
Yeah, so I would say a majority of it is participation, whether that's on the individual, the current, VP of recruitment, or whoever was working with me. If that participation wasn't there and they weren't putting in the effort, then, they didn't get the outcome they wanted. So definitely whenever a new person comes in and they put in that effort, that's where results have been coming in. It's just, taking that 10 minutes to send me your weekly goal, taking whatever time you need during that week to accomplish that goal. Another one I would say is probably chapter participation. A lot of, people start feeling overwhelmed. And like I said, with Killian, nobody was willing to help at first, but he put a lot of it on his plate. He starts sharing the successes I'm having. Like, hey, we have 30 phone numbers of P&Ms. We don't even have, a quarter of that in our actual chapter right now. And that excited more people. More people were willing to help out because they saw the load he was taking on. So I would say that's how people have been able to overcome it, is just sharing the successes, especially with the chapter participation, to get them more involved. And then regarding the groups that had struggled a little bit in the past, it's me just, showing them. I have a PowerPoint of, here are the chapters that excelled in goal performance and attendance. They never missed a meeting. And look, here's their fall 19 compared to their fall 20. And here's a chapter, I would take out the name if it wasn't a good example. They never filled out goals, or they never completed them, and they would show up maybe once a month, and look what happened. So I usually have statistics to back that up, just because I'm a statistical nerd regarding that. But that's kind of how I've been able to overcome those with chapters.
Our guys, in my experience of being on staff for quite some time now, like those numbers. It's hard to argue when you bring the statistics, right? It's like, no, really, these are the numbers, guys. You can't argue with me about them. So what would you say to chapters that are, it sounds like probably 2/3, 3/4 of our chapters are on the program, so to speak. What would you say to those chapters that haven't done it or are on the fence about it?
I would just say try it. Give it. It's a program that, kind of like how you can't build a dynasty up in a day. It's not something we have one conversation and it changes the landscape of your chapter recruitment scheme and your chapter operations. But give it almost a full year. I started working with groups like Clemson and Kentucky and a few others. Whenever I first came on part-time in November and started working with them a little bit more in a virtual setting in March. So I've been with them now for a full year almost, and they're starting to produce bigger numbers. It takes, some people are quicker to it and some people are just a little bit slower, and that might be because of the chapter atmosphere or the campus atmosphere that delays those results, but they eventually come. And so I would say just try it out, talk to me. Something that's going to be really important with Carrie Lovelace being on staff is us creating an advisory team to help with the more day-to-day stuff, because they understand their chapter's atmosphere, and I may not 100% based off what I can get over a Zoom call. So being able to work with groups like an advisory board or a recruitment committee with undergrads and alumni members on it is kind of what's going to really elevate this program more than what it has. So that'd be my advice to people. Just reach out and let's figure out a way that we can customize this experience to best fit you.
You just said alumni are the key to being involved in this program. How are alumni able to partner with you and the chapters to make this successful for their chapter or the chapter that they happen to be working with?
Yeah, so recently we just relaunched the recruitment coach program. It was one that I believe we outsourced Fired Up to do in the past, but I've kind of tailored it to my program and the sales aspect with the sales funnel and being able to do that daily to weekly communication. So that's how they can help, is by being a recruitment coach, because once you start seeing success with your group while I'm assisting you, then I'll kind of turn it over to you, where as an alumni recruitment coach, where you can work with them and kind of just give me an update, send me a quick email. Hey, we're doing good. We're record numbers, or our guys are feeling, we may be slightly below what we wanted, but the guys are feeling good about the quality of the men they're bringing in. And then from there we can work together. So that's a way that alumni member can get involved, either in contact me or Carrie, and we'll go ahead and we can do a sit down chat with them and kind of get them caught up to speed on what we'd like to see.
Awesome. Yeah, I think alumni are always looking for ways to be involved. And I'm sure you have some recruitment coaches that work remotely with chapters, or maybe they're not from their chapters. For example, I'm here in Denver. If I want to work with the Colorado State chapter, but I'm not from that chapter, how have you seen alumni succeed in that space?
Yeah. So, I mean, between Triangle and Lambda Chi, honestly, some of the best advisors I've ever seen have been ones that are remote, because they understand that they are there for almost an extra layer of like protection for the undergraduates. If they start to kind of slip between the cracks, or the best analogy I ever heard is, I'm that net that's at the end of the cliff, and when you start to fall off, I'm here to catch you. So they are always open to communication. They do text check-ins, for some younger alumni, especially, sending quick text, how'd the recruitment event go tonight? Or how did the chapter meeting go? And they don't have to be there physically, but just creating that rapport and just having that presence around in a remote environment, especially now with COVID, I think has kind of, shown everybody that we can have a virtual presence and make, a positive impact on groups. So I don't have a set example per se without naming a handful that would run past time, but that's definitely how we're able to kind of work together in that remote environment, just, being there when they need it and outreach to them when a significant event has happened in a good way. And, sometimes we have to handle those bad conversations too. Sure.
It sounds like remote advising is the way to go, pandemic or not. And it's absolutely something that we can, you or Carrie can help alumni with if they're interested, and we'll put we'll throw your information on a slide at the end of this so that people can have your direct contact. Don't worry. I just have two more quick questions for you. One, what's the best success you've seen with this program? You've shared so many stories. I'm sure you have one that really just lights your fire.
I mean, definitely probably be some of the groups that have just grown, very quickly. It's awesome. Like you heard me say with the Wisconsin or Clemson and Pittsburgh recently, they're the only group that I have worked with since I've came on staff that's had double-digit member classes in both the fall and spring, especially during pandemic, and they've never done that before.
Wow.
So that was a big success story, and just seeing how happy the members were. And, I shared it on the nationwide page, and it's gotten I think over 60 likes or reactions to the post. And so that excites a lot of people too. And they're one of them. Clemson doubling the size. I don't think they've been past double digits in the last couple of years. And just seeing how they get it. They understand what they have to do. Now it's just they have to work through that campus environment and culture to kind of find the guys that they want.
Yeah, these results are impressive. I think a lot of other fraternities would be jealous to have someone like you on staff that's really helping the chapters do it for themselves. You're not there on their campus recruiting for them. You're just helping them see the tools that they have within themselves and within their campus to make them successful. Last question, and I feel like you may have shared this already, but what is your favorite Triangle memory?
I would say it's a handful of them, and it's, more with the chapters outside that I mentioned. They're a part of it too, but nothing gets me more excited than just seeing the aha moments or the excitement from them once they have, what they consider a record new member class. Just this past weekend, between I think 5 chapters text me and said, we've signed X amount, and it's more than what they did in the last spring. I'd be sitting here on the couch on Saturday night watching, a TV show with my fiance, and I would just get so excited. I'm like, this chapter just signed, 8 guys. They only did 4 last spring. And she sees that excitement coming from me, and that's reflective in the excitement that I have for my chapters and what the chapters have for each other. So I'd say just moments like that's what really makes me excited. And, it kind of makes it feel like you're almost in person, being able to have Zoom or, texting them. I'm fairly open. I give them my personal number. I said, if you need a call, text me. But other than that, if you have a question, feel free to reach out, because I feel like that's what really makes the difference between performance on both ends, is that rapport and almost feeling like you're, in some sense, you're part of that, person or chapter's life, and you can help them out.
Absolutely. I think our guys appreciate that about our staff, is that we're all, here's my personal cell phone number. Reach out to me whenever you need me. We're here to help you. I know that we're closing in on the end of our time here. Is there anything that you haven't shared yet about the program? What you want alumni to know about it? What you want chapters to know about it? What you just really, this is your time to say whatever you would like.
Yeah, so with it being Week of Giving, this program, and actually the jump start to me coming on full time, was based off a donation to the fraternity. And that's what, the more donations we can receive either at the fraternity level or the foundation level is what's going to be able to help us get the best resources, best materials, and best education out to our undergraduate members. So I like to publicly thank the donor, I won't say his name, who kind of helped jumpstart my position and be able to get the tools into these guys' hands. It's made a world of difference. And I appreciate any donations that have come to the fraternity or foundation that's going to help our guys take the next step on their campus or within, their brothers as being a successful chapter based off what y'all are donating. So I appreciate it very much. And Amy, I appreciate your support in Week of Giving.
Oh, well, thanks. You stole my thunder here at the end about a little Week of Giving plug. Jim, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know it's early on Saturday. I appreciate you getting up and spending some time with me and just really sharing this amazing program and the tremendous results you're having. We're really, really lucky to have you on staff. So like I said, I'm going to put Jim's information and Carrie Lovelace, our Director of Alumni Engagement, her information up at the end of this video. And if you have any questions, please reach out to them. If you haven't yet made a donation to Week of Giving, as Jim said, and I'm going to say again, please consider a donation that helps support these amazing programs that we're doing for our undergraduates. And if you have made a donation, thank you so much. It is, as Jim said, our undergraduates appreciate it more than you know. So thanks everyone for watching, and have a great rest of your day.